Madison had always imagined her first day at university as something magical. Bright sunshine, a calm morning, maybe even a cute moment of meeting new friends like in the movies. Instead, she stood in the middle of the massive campus courtyard, holding a folded map that made absolutely no sense, turning it left, then right, then upside down again, hoping the buildings around her would magically rearrange to match the lines on the paper. The campus was buzzing with energy. Students rushing to classes, chatting loudly, laughing, dragging luggage, calling parents, and trying to act like they weren't panicking inside. Madison, however, was panicking. She had only 15 minutes before her very first lecture, Introduction to Psychology, and she could not even find the right building. The university looked like a small city, and every hallway, every path, every fountain seemed to lead somewhere she did not want to go. She took a deep breath, wiped her palms on her jeans, and muttered to herself, "Okay, Madison, you can do this, probably." At that exact moment, she heard a voice behind her. "You okay there? You look like you're trying to summon the campus spirits with that map." Madison turned around and saw a girl with light brown hair pulled up in a messy ponytail, holding an iced coffee in one hand and smiling like she had all the time in the world. Her name, as written on her bright purple lanyard, was Hailey. Madison's face turned red. "Is it that obvious?" Hailey laughed, a warm, friendly laugh that made Madison feel slightly less embarrassed. Yeah. Just a little. Where are you trying to go?" Madison showed her the map, pointing to the building labeled West Hall. "Psych lecture. West Hall. First day course," Hailey said instantly, as if she had been giving directions all morning. Madison nodded, feeling a flash of relief that she wasn't the only one lost. "Well, lucky for you, that's my building too. Come on, follow me." The trick is ignoring the map completely. It lies. A lot. She started walking, waving for Madison to follow. Madison hurried to keep up. "I really thought I was prepared," she admitted, trying not to sound too nervous. "Oh, trust me, everyone thinks that," Hailey said, taking a sip of her drink. "Then the campus hits you with, like, 12 confusing hallways and a fountain that should honestly come with a warning sign." They walked past a group of students standing with giant campus maps, all arguing loudly about which direction north was. "See," Hailey whispered. "First day victims." Madison laughed for the first time that morning. Something about Hailey's humor made everything feel a little less overwhelming. As they walked, Madison learned that Hailey was also a psychology major, also new, also terrified of accidentally sitting in the wrong classroom and listening to a lecture about advanced physics. "Happened to my cousin," Hailey said dramatically. She didn't realize for 40 minutes because the professor was very scientific-looking. Madison nearly choked from laughing. For a moment, she forgot she was nervous at all. "So, are you from around here?" Hailey asked as they crossed a long walkway covered in golden leaves. "Kind of," Madison said. "About 2 hours away." "You?" 6 hours, Hailey said. "My mom cried the whole ride. Then cried again when she left. Then texted me 20 minutes later asking what I was eating for dinner tonight." Madison smiled. "Sounds like my mom." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, as if they had known each other longer than 10 minutes. When they finally reached West Hall, Madison felt surprised at how quickly the walk had gone by. Hailey pointed dramatically toward the building. "Behold, the legendary hall of confusing staircases and classrooms that changed names every semester." Madison took a deep breath, But now it wasn't fear, it was excitement. "Thanks, Hailey. Really. I probably would have wandered around for another hour." "Nah," Hailey said, waving her hand. "I could tell you were cool. Lost, but cool." As they stepped inside the building, surrounded by students, noise, and the chaos of the first day, Madison felt something she hadn't expected: comfort. Maybe it was just luck. Maybe it was fate. Or maybe some friendships really do begin with a stranger noticing your upside-down map. Whatever it was, Madison had no idea that this small moment, this random meeting, would be the start of the most important friendship of her university years. Madison had barely stepped out of her first lecture when she felt the first cold drop of water hit her shoulder. She looked up just in time to see dark clouds rolling over the campus like a giant gray blanket. Students around her started groaning, digging for umbrellas, running for cover. Madison froze. She hadn't brought one. Of course she hadn't. It was her first day, and she'd been too distracted by nerves and maps to check the weather. Another drop fell, then another, and within seconds the sky opened up completely. A sudden wave of rain hit the courtyard. Madison pressed her backpack against her chest and tried to shield herself, but it was hopeless. She was about to make a dash toward the nearest building when she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Oh no, you're not doing the dramatic movie run in the rain. Come here." Hailey appeared like a hero in a rom-com, except instead of a bouquet of flowers she held a giant checkered umbrella and 2 iced coffees. She swung the umbrella over both of them just as the rain turned into a downpour. "You didn't bring an umbrella, did you?" Hailey asked with a grin. Madison sighed. "Was it that obvious?" "I mean, you look like a confused penguin trying to escape a waterfall," Hailey said. Madison laughed, though she felt her cheeks heat up. The rain splashed around them in heavy sheets, soaking the ground instantly. They huddled close under the umbrella as they walked, bumping shoulders occasionally. "Seriously, where did this come from?" Madison said, glancing at the storm. "Welcome to campus weather," Hailey replied. "Sunny one second, apocalyptic the next." They hurried across the courtyard, water splashing beneath their shoes. The umbrella wasn't really big enough for 2 people, so Hailey kept leaning toward Madison, trying to make sure she stayed dry. "You know," Hailey said, "you're actually doing better than I did on my first day." Madison raised an eyebrow. "Really?" "Oh yeah. I tripped going up the main stairs. Full-on dramatic fall. People gasped." "No way." "Way," Hailey said proudly. "If there had been judges, I would have scored at least an 8.5 for style." Madison shook her head, laughing harder than she expected. Somehow, everything felt easier around Hailey, lighter, warmer, even in the middle of a storm. As they approached the student center, a giant splash of water exploded at their feet. Hailey stopped walking. "Okay, that puddle definitely wasn't here 5 minutes ago. What do we do now?" Madison asked. "We run," Hailey said, eyes sparkling with mischief. "Like humans who made terrible life choices." Before Madison could protest, Hailey grabbed her hand. They sprinted across the courtyard together, the umbrella wobbling wildly above them, rain hitting their legs, their hair sticking to their faces. They were laughing so hard they could barely breathe. By the time they reached the covered walkway, both girls were soaked from the knees down. Madison bent over, trying to catch her breath. "That was terrible." "That," Hailey corrected, "was iconic." She raised her iced coffee like a trophy. We survived the great freshman rainstorm. Madison grinned. Is that what we're calling it? Oh, absolutely, Hailey said. Years from now, we'll tell our future roommates about this moment. They'll think we're dramatic. They'll be correct. Madison couldn't stop smiling. The storm, the sprint, the ridiculousness of it all, it felt like a memory they were already laughing about. Hey, Hailey said, nudging her gently, want to grab lunch together? I was going to go alone, but it's much more fun with a confused penguin. Madison rolled her eyes playfully. Sure. But I'm not a penguin. You are when it rains, Hailey said. But don't worry. I adopt all my penguins. Madison shook her head, still smiling. She didn't know what the rest of the semester would bring, but she knew one thing for sure. This didn't feel like just a casual first-day acquaintance. It felt like the beginning of something real, a friendship already forming in small moments, shared jokes, and unexpected rainstorms. The hallway of West Maple dorm buzzed with noise when Madison and Hailey returned from lunch. Doors slamming, students dragging boxes, someone loudly arguing with a printer that refused to cooperate. Madison clutched her room key, trying to remember the RA's instructions. 3rd floor, 2nd door on the left, the one with the slightly crooked number. Hailey walked beside her, bouncing on her feet as if she'd had 3 coffees instead of 1. So, Hailey said, nudging her, are you nervous about meeting your roommate? Madison hesitated. A little. What if she's loud? What if she hates me? What if she steals my snacks? Okay, first of all, Hailey said, raising a finger dramatically, snack thieves are rare but dangerous. Second, you'll be fine. Most roommates are surprisingly human. Madison wasn't convinced, but Hailey's confidence made her smile. When they reached Madison's door, she took a deep breath. Moment of truth, she whispered. She unlocked the door and pushed it open. Inside, the room was small but cozy. 2 beds, 2 desks, a big window, fairy lights already strung across one side, and a girl with curly hair kneeling on the floor, trying to assemble a storage drawer. She looked up with bright eyes. Hi. You must be Madison. I'm Riley. Madison exhaled in relief. Riley's smile was warm, genuine, and immediately comforting. Hi, Madison said shyly. Sorry, I'm a little late. First day chaos. Same, Riley said. I already broke 2 hangers and possibly this drawer. Hailey peeked into the room from behind Madison. Hi. I'm Hailey. I'm just here to make sure Madison doesn't hide in the closet from social interaction. Madison groaned. I don't hide in closets. Riley laughed. Well, if you ever want to, I can clear some space. Madison immediately liked her. As Madison unpacked clothes and books, Hailey helped Riley put together the drawer, though helped was a generous description, considering she spent half the time reading the instructions upside down. The 3 girls chatted easily, discovering they shared a love for late-night snacks, cheesy rom-coms, and complaining about early morning classes. After a while, Riley left to meet her orientation group, and Hailey flopped onto Madison's newly made bed. Okay, Hailey said dramatically, I approve of your roommate. She seems very supportive of hiding in closets. Madison tossed a pillow at her. Stop. Never. They laughed, the kind of laughter that made Madison's stomach feel light. As she continued unpacking, she found a framed photo of her and her mom. She paused, feeling a small tug of homesickness. Hailey noticed instantly. "Hey," she said softly, sitting up. "You okay?" Madison nodded, though her eyes stung a little. "Yeah. Just weird being away from home." "Totally normal," Hailey said. "The first week is the hardest. After that, you start collecting moments that make this place feel like yours." Madison looked around the room, the fairy lights, the half-built drawer, the pillow Hailey had thrown at Riley by accident. It already felt less scary. "Thanks," Madison said, "for everything today." Hailey waved her hand. "Please. If anything, you saved me. I barely know anyone here, and now I have someone to laugh with during rainstorms. That's priceless." They shared a smile. Then Hailey glanced at the clock and jumped up. "Oh, my roommate arrives in 10 minutes. I should probably go make sure the smoke detector didn't go off again." Again. It was a toaster incident. Long story. Madison shook her head, laughing. Hailey stepped into the hallway but paused. "Text me later? Or come find me? I'm down the hall, room 312. Door with a crooked flower sticker." "Okay," Madison said. "I will." "Good. Because you're stuck with me now. It's a law of the universe." And with that, Hailey disappeared down the hall. Madison stood in the doorway, smiling to herself. Today had started with confusion, nerves, and an upside-down map. Now she had a roommate she liked, a room that felt like hers, and a new friend who made everything brighter. She didn't know it yet, but this dorm, this hallway, this messy little room, they were about to become the center of her world. Over the next week, the campus slowly transformed from a maze of confusing buildings into a place that felt almost familiar. Madison found herself settling into routines, morning classes, afternoon study sessions, and evenings filled with the comfortable chaos of dorm life. But the best part of every day was, without question, seeing Hailey. Somehow, without either of them ever discussing it, they fell into a rhythm. They walked to class together whenever their schedules matched. They grabbed iced coffee together even when they probably didn't need the caffeine. They texted non-stop about tiny catastrophes, strange cafeteria food, and which professor had a secret love for dramatic pauses. One Friday afternoon, after a long morning of lectures, Madison and Hailey met at the campus quad and sat on the grass with slices of pizza. The warm sunlight made everything feel slower, softer. "So," Hailey said, chewing thoughtfully, "how's the homesickness?" Madison hesitated. "Better. I still miss home, but being here doesn't feel as scary anymore." "Good," Hailey said, "because I was ready to start a dramatic campaign called Save Madison's Sanity." Madison giggled. "What would that include?" Hailey tossed her hair back proudly. "Snack therapy, emotional support penguins, daily compliments, maybe a flash mob." "A flash mob?" "Obviously. No great plan is complete without one." Madison shook her head, smiling in a way she hadn't smiled in weeks. After pizza, they wandered toward the library. On the way, Hailey stopped suddenly. "Wait. I almost forgot. I have something for you." She dug into her backpack and pulled out a tiny compass keychain. "In case you get lost again," she said with a mischievous grin. Madison laughed. "Hailey." "What?" "It's practical. And symbolic. And cute." Madison held the compass in her palm, touched by the unexpected thoughtfulness. "Thank you. Really." "Of course," Hailey said, bumping her shoulder. Friends don't let friends wander campuses alone. Later that evening, Madison invited Hailey and Riley to her dorm room for a movie night. Riley brought popcorn, Hailey brought too much candy, and Madison provided the blankets. They sat on the floor, laughing at the cheesy dialogue and quoting the most dramatic scenes. At one point, Riley paused the movie to say, "You two act like you've been best friends for years." Hailey blinked. "Do we?" Madison looked at Hailey, and something warm spread in her chest. They did feel like longtime friends, even though it had only been days. "Well," Hailey said, throwing a gummy bear into the air and catching it with her mouth, "some people just click." Madison nodded softly. "Yeah, they do." When the movie ended and Riley left, Madison walked Hailey to the hallway. They lingered there for a moment, not wanting the night to end yet. "Today was fun," Madison said quietly. "Every day with you is fun," Hailey replied with a shrug, as if it were the most obvious fact in the world. Madison looked at her, her messy ponytail, her bright eyes, her easy smile, and felt something settle inside her. A certainty. She didn't have many close friends back home. She had never connected with someone so quickly, so naturally. But with Hailey, everything was effortless. "Good night, Madison," Hailey said, turning toward her room. "Good night," Madison whispered. And as she stepped back into her dorm, she realized something important. She wasn't just adjusting to university life. She was building a friendship, one that already felt like it was becoming the center of her new world. By the second week of classes, the excitement of the new semester had shifted into something heavier. Assignments, deadlines, readings that seemed to multiply overnight. Madison felt the pressure building, especially in her psychology class, where the professor had assigned a surprise quiz for Monday. All weekend she tried to study, but the information kept slipping through her fingers like sand. By Sunday evening, she sat at her desk surrounded by notes, staring at the same paragraph for the 10th time. Her chest felt tight. Her eyes stung. She had never been the type to panic about school, but everything about university felt so much bigger, louder, harder. Riley had gone to a club meeting, so the room was unusually quiet. Madison pressed her palms against her forehead, trying not to cry. That was when her phone buzzed. "Hailey, study break? I have snacks." Madison hesitated before replying, "I can't. I'm behind. And I think I'm freaking out." Less than 30 seconds later, someone knocked on her door. Madison opened it and saw Hailey standing there, hair messy, hoodie half-zipped, holding a bag of pretzels and 2 juice boxes. "Emergency rescue mission," Hailey announced, stepping inside without waiting for permission. Madison sank onto her bed. "I don't think I can do this. The quiz, the readings, everything feels too much." Hailey sat beside her, not saying anything at first. She just leaned gently against Madison's shoulder, letting the silence settle. Finally she said, "Hey, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to breathe." Madison let out a shaky exhale. "I know. I just hate feeling like I'm failing already." "You're not failing," Hailey said firmly. "You're adjusting. Everyone struggles the first month. Even me." Madison turned to her. You always look so confident." Hailey laughed softly. "Madison, I cried in the laundry room yesterday because the machine ate my sock." Madison blinked, then burst into laughter. Real, uncontrollable laughter that made the stress melt from her shoulders. Hailey grinned. "See? We're all messes. Some of us are just better at pretending. After the laughter faded, Hailey took Madison's notebook and gently set it aside. Come on. We're going to review this together. Slowly. One page at a time. No pressure. And they did. For the next hour, Hailey explained concepts, quizzed her on key terms, and celebrated every right answer like Madison had won a prize. By the end of the study session, Madison felt something she hadn't felt all weekend: calm. Hailey stood to leave, but paused at the door. "You've got this," she said softly. "And even if you don't, you've still got me." Madison felt warmth rush through her. "Thank you, Hailey." "Any time," Hailey said, smiling before disappearing into the hallway. That night, as Madison climbed into bed, she realized something undeniable. This friendship wasn't just fun or easy. It was solid, trustworthy, exactly what she needed.